I am here to chat with you about bottles for your breastfed baby. And this might be a question for some of you. You're like, well, I breastfeed, what do I need bottles for? Well, you might. If you're a working mom, you might need to introduce your kiddo to a bottle just to kind of get them used to the idea because you won't be around all the time. Or, you know, if you want an occasional date night out, you might want somebody else being able to feed your baby. That's definitely a bonus. Or if you want your partner to be able to help with feedings, or if they have a desire to help with feedings, having your baby super comfortable taking a bottle is a good thing. It's generally advised, if you're gonna be a stay-at-home mom and you're only gonna use a bottle like occasionally, it's generally advised to wait about 4 to 6 weeks to introduce a bottle. But if you lead a really busy lifestyle and if you're a working mom, you're gonna wanna probably introduce even earlier than that. I waited the full 6 weeks to introduce a bottle to Harrison, and it was a nightmare, I'm telling you. So he is my first kid that I have breastfed. My daughter was a NICU baby, and so she was a bottle baby. Long story short, I am a first-time breastfeeding mom, but I read on the internet and they're like, nipple confusion, don't introduce the bottle early, da 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 da. I wish I would have introduced it a little earlier because he is a champ breastfeeder. He's 21 months and he still is breastfeeding. So yeah, he is a champ. I waited because I wanted to make sure that we had a good milk supply established and a good nursing relationship. But honestly, I wish that a couple of his feedings early in his life would have been bottle feedings because it was really rough introducing him to the bottle. So I would say if you're a busy person or if you're a mom who's planning to go back to work, I would say somewhere between like the 2 and 3 week mark to start introducing your baby to a bottle. Or if your baby seems to be a really good nurser right from the jump, like maybe introduce it even earlier than that. So it's ultimately up to you when you introduce your baby to a bottle, but there are a few factors to consider. So one of the most common reasons for parents to introduce a bottle to their baby is if mom or if the primary parent is going to be going back to work. So you're gonna need your baby to take a bottle or be fed by someone else. For us, that was breast milk in his bottle, but some people transition their baby to formula. For those of you who are working moms and who will need to have your baby transition to a bottle before you go back to work or being able to go back and forth to a bottle, I highly recommend doing it as early as possible. If you're having struggles with nursing, maybe wait a little bit longer, but if your baby is like a really, really great nurser, earlier the better, honestly. That way it's never like a weird thing that you have to introduce to your baby. And there's lots and lots of bottles out there that are breastfeeding friendly, so there's less chance of getting nipple confusion. And I'm actually planning to do a video like review of some of those bottles, so hang tight or hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss that. And then another tip, this is just kind of a side note for working moms, try to spend, I don't know, a couple hours at a time away from your baby. And I know this can be super hard, especially when they're really little, but you want them to get used to being in the care of someone else. So we would do like a couple of little play dates with the person who was going to care for Harrison, and like Brian would occasionally take Harrison while I like had a shower and maybe did a couple of other things. But it's important that your baby knows that other people will be taking care of them other than just mom. So if you are going back to work, you want to make that transition as smooth as possible. So a question that I get all the time when I say that to moms, when I say introduce the bottle a little bit on the earlier side, is why not wait to introduce the bottle until you absolutely have to go back to work? Why not just let baby and mom have that bonding time? So in my experience, like breastfed babies generally prefer mom. Like think about it, if you were a little baby, like you would want to be close to the smell that you recognize, have skin to skin, have somebody like maybe stroking your hair while you're having your snack. Of course, a little baby is going to prefer to be breastfed. So the earlier that you can introduce that bottle, the easier the transition will be, and baby will see that they will still get all the snuggles from mom, but they will also still sometimes have to eat from this little bottle thing. If your kiddo is having a difficult time taking a bottle at first, just know that eventually your baby will take a bottle, and it might be kind of rough if they don't like the bottle or if they're a kid like Harrison that only wants to breastfeed. It took our daycare gal, I would say like a week or 2 weeks to really get Harrison good on a bottle. But eventually, when I wasn't around, when he couldn't, you know, see that, hey, I want to go eat with her instead, when he could see that his only option really was the bottle, he took it just fine. So it might be kind of a struggle. Your baby might get a little bit upset, and that's really sad and hard, but just know that eventually your baby will take a bottle. If one brand of bottle's not working, keep trying. We tried so many different bottles, and honestly, the only one that really worked for us is the Komotomo. Different bottles will work for different babies. I will go ahead and link the Komotomo down below, so if you are a breastfeeding mom and you want your baby to be able to take a bottle, I know that one is recommended for breastfeeding babies. I'll go ahead and link it down below, and maybe I'll link a couple of other ones down below as well, just so you guys can have some options from this video. But if you are a breastfeeding and bottle feeding mom, or if you started out breastfeeding and then you transitioned to bottle feeding and pumping, or bottle feeding exclusively with formula, however you did it, feel free to leave any tips that you have down below as well. We are a wonderful community here, and I love to have others share their experiences and help everybody out. So go ahead and leave those down in the comments below. If you have questions about bottle feeding and breastfeeding and that kind of thing, also please leave those down in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer them. I am a mom. I'm not like a lactation specialist or anything, but I have had a lot of experience with breastfeeding, and you know, I have a lot of knowledge on the subject, so I can answer or direct you to someone who can answer your question a little bit better. So thank you guys so much for being here. If you are one of my current subscribers, thank you again. I couldn't do what I do without you. If you're new around here, don't forget to hit that red subscribe button below. We love new faces and new friends, so go ahead and join us. We all would love it. If you would like to connect with me outside of YouTube, feel free to find me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I have all of those social media pages linked down below. And yeah, with that, you guys, by the way, have fun today.